Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA, episode 327. I am Brendan. All right, Dana White Contender Series, Season 7, Week 7. All right, we're going to break down all the fights from this card. We're going to talk about who got a contract and who didn't, what I thought about the card in general. We're going to break down all the fights on this one, right? So it's going to be the Gaziev versus Velasco card. I really enjoyed this fight night, but not as much as I did the last one. Before we get started, subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of stuff. That way you know the next video is coming out. It helps me out, and I'd appreciate it. I do 2 or 3 videos every single week breaking down fights. Let's get into it. If you're looking for a fight breakdown from the episodes, timestamps are down below. All right. Shamil Gaziev versus Greg Velasco. Didn't last long. Velasco took one hard punch from Gaziev, and then he ends up on his ass right away. Velasco gets the back, and so Velasco defends, and then he gets the back, but he can't wrap around. Gaziev is a larger guy. He's got a big gut. Velasco doesn't have the biggest legs, so he wasn't able to put the body triangle in or really control from the back. His back control wasn't very good. And, Gaziev's from Bahrain. Gaziev ends up getting mount, and then he takes it back, and then he gets a rear naked choke finish. So, there was not much to break down in this fight. It was, great camera work there. Yeah, that's what we want. Yep. He wasn't even defending. He was just waiting to tap. It was very odd. DC pointed it out when he was commenting. It's kind of strange. It's not the first time you see that, but usually what happens is a guy will do that when he's already defended for a while and he's just very tired. This was in the beginning of the fight. Gaziev gets a contract. Obviously. Daniel Allen versus Jacobi Jones. This one went the distance. All right. Hard low kick lands from Jones. Allen looking to chase him down, but gets countered. Allen caught a kick and attempted a takedown, couldn't really control him there. Jones with the low inside kick and the right hand landing really well. And then Allen started to use the front kick to the body and landing that straight left, and then he countering Jones with that hard right hook, and he just started to use his range really well. He started to really pick it up in the second half of the first round, just landing more, doing a better job with his boxing. He just outstruck him, and the biggest difference was to the head. Right, like I said, with the boxing down the stretch, because every other part they were about even. Leg kicks, body shots, they were about even. It really came down to the boxing, the head shots. I know boxing, you punch to the body as well, but it was the boxing of Jones that, Allen. There was the boxing of Allen that really started to take over in this first round. Second round here, Allen with a hard kick to the nuts as they both throw kicks. This happened 3 times, twice really bad where they stopped it, but no point deduction. I do not agree with that. Just because it happened incidentally doesn't mean it doesn't affect the fight. Allen using his range really well, landing that hard right hand and a left, staying out of Jones's range where he couldn't reach him. And then Jones staying in there, trading, landing big hooks of his own, really forcing the issue, landing the body kicks, landing the low kicks. Allen kicked him in the nuts. Yeah, he kicked him in the nuts again. Jones he was going really kick heavy this round, and I thought he had a much better round, but Allen started, he still was countering him with the right hook, some nasty 1-2s. It was a good bounce back round for Jones. I don't know if he did enough damage to the legs. I mean, if you look, he landed 30 leg kicks throughout this whole fight. In the second and the third round, the first, second, and third round, good leg kick rounds for him. But I just don't know if they did enough damage, right? Because it has to show an effect unless everything else is equal. If everything else is equal and you're landing hard low kicks, then those count for you in your favor and they put you over the top. But if you're kicking a guy in the legs and he's limping and he's falling over because his legs hurt so bad, now that's appreciable damage that you've done to him, so it's clear. That's not what we got here. So I gave that second round to Allen as well, 20-18. Last round, he tried with the body and the low kicks were landing for Jones again, but he started to get tired, and then Allen started countering him. Allen kind of waiting now, not really moving as well. Or Jones wasn't moving as well, and then Allen landing with fundamentals. He's doing really good job with his boxing. He caught a kick and got the takedown, held him on the ground for a little bit. Allen just started landing great shots down the stretch. Easy 30-27 for me. I know on one judge's scorecard that he gave it a 29-28. I can understand that if you gave that second round to Jones. Not a lot of we don't have like one big highlight from that fight. Good fight though. It was good. Neither of these guys got a contract. Talita Alencar versus Stephanie Luciano. Oh boy. Luciano was throwing the knee as Alencar entered, but because Alencar really wanted to get this to the ground. Alencar got a momentary takedown. Luciano got back up, landing those kicks. She was landing those BS kicks with Alencar on the ground. And then Alencar's she's really trying to get the takedown, but when Luciano was on her back, because she eventually does get the takedown, when she's on her back, Luciano was landing up kicks, crazy hard ones. She was doing damage off her back. And the thing is, like, Luciano didn't land anything big enough to swing it her way in the first round. Not that I thought, right? I didn't think she landed enough. So I still gave it 10-9 to Alencar. I think that's the right call. Second round, a 1-2 and a front kick from Luciano. She's stuffing the takedowns, keeping the pressure on, and then Alencar did a great job getting the back after a garbage takedown attempt. Makes this recovery. Beautiful back take. Again, Luciano just didn't land enough damage. Alencar up 20-18. Then this last round, Luciano's pressuring so hard, landing nice 1-2s. Alencar's panic wrestling. She's freaking out, backing up, throwing bullshit out there. Alencar pulled guard, doesn't answer the call to stand up. I hate that. I think you have a half a second to respond to a referee telling you to stand up. If he says it again, he shouldn't. No, nonsense. He shouldn't have to say it twice. I think the fact that he allows you to stay on the ground after he says it twice is a gift. Really what should happen is you should get disqualified because you're playing a game, you're trying to waste time, and she knew she was up 2 rounds, so she's trying to just chill and not lose this round too bad. To no avail because she got dominated. Alencar sit down, but somehow she just sat down at one point while getting punched, and they didn't call the fight off. And I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, oh, "Okay, well, no, not a single one of those punches was fight ending." Fine, she's not intelligently defending herself. Sitting down and getting punched in the face is not intelligent. She didn't pull guard. She just sat down. Okay, she wasn't trying to pull guard. She just sat down. Like that's not the same thing. This fight could have been stopped, and I would have been fine with it. I'm not against someone knowing that they're up on the scorecard and playing it a little safe in the last round, but you have to provide some sort of technique. And eventually at the end, she was, trying to squeeze her and hold her still, but Luciano dominated. That was a 10-8 round. I gave it a 28-28, and that's what happened, right? And I wrote down, I hope Luciano gets the offer, and she did. She did get the offer to come to the UFC, so I'm excited for her. Alencar, even if she had won that fight, she would not have got a contract. I guarantee you. She's not ready. It's not to say that that doesn't happen in the UFC, but if you do this on the Contender Series and you just show that you can't even last 3 rounds, you can't even last 2 rounds, to be honest. All right, Dylan Mantello versus Kaynan Kruschewsky. These European names, these Russian-ass names for these Brazilian folks. Kruschewsky. I know he probably has family from Europe. I get that. Right. A hard jab, then a 1-2 landing for Kruschewsky. Mantello landing a hard right hand and another one. Mantello's keeping his left guard so freaking low. Dude, his hand, he never brought it up here. He never brought it up here to guard. He always kept it right here. The left side of his face was wide open for right hands. I noticed that 20 seconds into the fight. You're going to tell me Kruschewsky didn't pick up on it? Of course he did. Right hand from Kruschewsky was landing at will, and then he's jabbing to the body, and Kruschewsky gets a takedown. He fights out of a guillotine because Mantello did throw up a guillotine. It was a decent attempt. Gets onto the back, and then he put him to sleep with a rear naked choke. So great win for Kruschewsky. Fantastic performance. I thought he looked excellent. And he's sleepy. Very excited, Kruschewsky here. Ow. I banged my elbow. First fight of the night. Jhonata Silva versus Igor da Silva. I will not be saying Silva or De Silva, hopefully. I wrote down their first names. On the broadcast, they kept saying the wrong name too. Jhonata going to the body with the jab. And he's landing the 2 with the jab. He's doing a great job. Both guys were landing left hooks at the end of their combos. Jhonata got the cleaner one in that exchange. Nice right hand and a left hook from Jhonata. A hard right hand landing for Jhonata, and that jab to the body was just there all day. Igor was landing a hook here and there, but nothing sustained and not landing as much. Igor gets a takedown and keeps wrestling through and gets on top, but Jhonata gets back up and he's working hard. He's just freaking tenacious. Jhonata did more damage in this first round despite being on his back for 30 seconds. So he was on his back and he ended up taking more damage in the second round, which is why you see the total strikes here 83-38 in favor of Igor. But we'll talk about that. So I had a 10-9. Jhonata. I thought he did an excellent job in this first round. Second round, they trade in the pocket with hooks, and then Igor gets the better of it, and that's the beginning of the end. He caught him with a couple hooks, especially that left hook, and he started to wobble him, and then it got bad, and then he started landing. He landed a left hook. Jhonata went down. Igor was he wasn't able to get the finish, and he started looking tired. But then the hooks from Igor started landing again, and Jhonata just, he drops him, and he was finally able to get the finish. It was good too because he was looking really tired out there. Like this last little sequence. Yeah, and then it's over. He ends up finishing on the ground. Excellent win for him, and he gets the contract. So fantastic job. Good card. I liked watching these fights for the most part. I thought the draw was a little lackluster, and I thought the Jones-Allen fight wasn't a barn burner, but it was fun to watch. It was a good technical match. I actually enjoyed that. I thought that neither one of those guys would look out of place in the UFC. I think it's just a combination of things, them both being good wrestlers that kind of led to that the exchanges that they had. That is all. If you like this kind of stuff, you're looking for the breakdowns from last week, I got those ones up for the Dana White Contender Series. The Ultimate Fighter, Season 31, I did that one, the Conor McGregor one. So subscribe to the channel so you know when the next video is coming out, but I do have a bunch of back catalog videos if you're interested in watching breakdowns on those fights. So appreciate y'all for stopping by. It means a lot to me. Hope you guys have an amazing week. Love y'all.